Hey everyone, I'm Kadesha and welcome to Open Source Friday, the show where we talk to maintainers about the apps that they're maintaining. It's Friday and I'm so excited as usual, always excited, but mostly excited because you are here with me today again. Um, Talking about Rip It Up Thursday from yesterday, but today I have a very special guest, Peter from the Suricata team, here to talk to us all about network intrusion detection system and a lot of cybersecurity goodness. Now, I am very curious about this topic because I don't know much about network intrusion detection systems. Let me know in the chat if you do. I'm seeing some familiar names in the chat. Welcome. How is everybody doing? Let me know where you're joining from. I'm here in Chicago. It's a sunny day, a beautiful day outside, and I'm grateful because it's not cold yet. But let's get right into the stream because we have a lot to chat about. So I'm just going to bring up Peter here. Hello, welcome.
Hi, folks. Pleasure to be here. Very thankful for the opportunity.
Of course, we're so stoked to have you on the stream. Who says stoked? We're so excited to have you on the stream. So I guess let's jump right in, right? So, like, Peter, tell us about yourself. Who are you and what do you do?
Sure. My name is Peter Manev. I am part of the Suricata project, which is actually a public GPL version 2 hosted on GitHub. It is actually, I have about 20 or 20 so plus years of experience in the IT security field in general, as in corporate and commercial, and also as in the open source software deployment, development, and infrastructure experience. It's been actually 16 years since I kind of started helping out the Suricata project, which
Oh,
is
wow.
actually, yeah, it's been in. So the other day I was thinking about it, and I was like, "That's a lot of years." But
Yeah.
it's also, I don't know if you ever get that, but it's also a lot of years to be spending at the same place, but with the same with ever evolving team, of course. But I just want to open a bracket here and say that it's a truly an experience. I'm very lucky. I'm very happy. I'm very honored to be part of the Suricata community, one, and two, part of the Suricata actually team. Very welcoming, open-minded bunch of people. Truly a pleasure. Very easy to work with, and that's why we're here, just to tell a
Nice.
story and spread the word and see if we can get more to actually feedback and use the project.
Yeah, of course. And I love the journey and the story. So before we jump into Suricata, the project specifically, what does network threat detection actually mean in simple terms? And what is the problem that Suricata is trying to address?
Okay, so let's go simple terms.
Yes.
Um, you know the way you have Wi-Fi at home, right? And so I'm talking just personally my experience. So I was wondering one day, it's like, okay, we have the Wi-Fi, everybody's connected.
Mm,
We got all phones, laptops, whatever computers connected in. And but I was really wondering, like, what else is connected to my
mm,
network? What else is actually in there? And one of the interesting things was that you can only monitor what's connected or what's inside the network, inside your Wi-Fi at home, actually on the network itself. So, and I was surprised actually to see, let's just say, hypothetically, surprise. I was surprised actually to see that. Besides, I was expecting to see the kids, myself, my wife, and all the stuff connected and all that stuff. But I saw the dishwasher connected. I saw the the TV connected. I saw a bunch of other
Oh,
things connected to
yes.
the Wi-Fi, which is normal. There's lots of apps and all those things are going forward. Moving forward rapidly with the development of new technologies and all that stuff. And we had a bunch of devices connected that we did not know about. Actually, I did not know about. I was just curious. Nothing bad, but it was just like I just had no idea that these things were actually connected, or for some of them I've forgotten. So that's the part here actually where suricata comes in with the network threat detection. It actually provides visibility on the network because you don't know what these devices are, where they are. It provides visibility on the network first to tell you, okay, what else is actually talking on the network? How is it talking on the network? How is it communicating? Where is it? And all those things. And then second, not last of course, but provides actually detection of unwanted malicious activities and all those things that you want to be aware of. For example, if there's an unwanted browser or some malware, if you're unlucky to have that at home and similar things. So that's where actually network threat detection comes in. And that's how also Suricata started in this. He was like to provide visibility, bring visibility, and at the same time provide protection from like cyber threats and all those things.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me at home. I was like, I didn't know now, and now I'm like, okay, so I see all these things connected. Maybe some of them don't need to be connected.
I know. I always found it strange that the laundry can be connected, the dishwasher, the refrigerator. For me,
Yeah,
I'm like, what is the reason? I don't want that. I don't want it to be connected to the Wi-Fi. I just want it to be able to do the one thing.
yeah, sure. Some things, but it's actually part of the everyday life nowadays. It's like
Yes.
you something breaks, you buy something, it has an app, you click connect to it, you have to upload, for
Yes.
example, connect to it, and totally normal. But as long as you
Yeah.
know, that's okay. But as you said, as long as it doesn't happen without your knowledge, then it's a problem.
Yeah. So essentially, you're saying that firewalls alone can protect us.
No, nothing alone can protect us. It's like the
Nothing
security.
alone can protect
It's a
us.
stack. There's no silver bullet. There's no one thing. That's why we have so many things. Suricata is
Yeah.
an essential part of any actually security deployment. There's many different layers that need to come together. But again, there's no silver bullet. There's no one thing. If there was, it would have been out there by now, I guess.
Yeah, of course. So I know you have a little presentation or thing that you want to, share with us to tell us even more about the
Sure.
Suricata, why it's important, how it came about. So I'm just gonna bring up your
Oh, sure.
slides here, and yeah, let's hear it.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you very much. And please don't hesitate to ask any questions, interrupt, and all
Oh,
those
of
things. I'm more
course.
than happy to. Um, so, Surigata, of course, is as an open source project. It's not only about the code to being open source, but it's also about the community and the future. And by that, I mean roadmap, for example, discussions, the community. We have all our roadmap is public, our bugs and feature requests are public. It's about being actually open and working with the community because there's a bunch of really nice and clever experts out there, friends and that help out. So let's dive in a bit forward. So this is the sci-fi version of me, okay? This is not the real me, but but so I've been, as I mentioned, I've been with Suricata for about 16 years, with Suricata project with the team. During my journey, I grew up to be one of the its huge supporters, and very thankful for the team having me. And so I'm officially part of the exec team, and Suricata Evangelist. Also, I've been involved a lot in, and I am involved a lot in QA and trainings. I've done a bunch of blogs, workshops, video tutorials, book, co-authoring a book about Suricata and all those things. I'm also a chief strategy officer of Stamos Networks. And Samus Networks is there because actually we met with a friend at the Suricata project. So things just keep evolving. I also maintain a bunch of other open source projects that I help with that are entirely based out of the data or Suricata itself. I'm super happy about that. But again, enough about me. This is never about one person. This is about a team. This is about a community. This is that's the essence of it. So it started in 2007. Victor Julian is our lead developer, one of the original members. So he's probably on year 18, maybe 19. I have only 16. Because the first official release is in 2009. And the foundation, which is a US nonprofit, was founded in 2010. And the reason for the foundation was actually so that the foundation, the OISF, Open Information Security Foundation, would actually be owning the code of Suricata, which is GPL version 2, public on GitHub, so that there is absolutely nothing commercial. So you cannot close the code one day or try to sell it or things like that. No, everything is open from the get-go, from the very beginning. That's how it was built. That's why it was built open. Fast forward to today, a few years, it's actually widely used. It has a global team. There's actually we have a community of members from every continent, from pretty much every time zone. And again, the foundation's purpose here, the mission, is to actually, as you see here, to preserve the integrity of open source security technologies and communities. So very thankful for the people that are inside the OISF team, world-class security experts, developers, evangelists, non-profit leaders, ground down-to-earth people, people that are easy to talk, easy to communicate, easy to work with. And of course, all that in any open source project, even though the project, the code or might be free and open source, it doesn't mean that it happens for free. So we are very thankful to all of our consortium members who are actually funding the Suricata development and helping out in any way, shape, or form they can. So you need the consortium members as well, and it cannot happen without it because it's not free. Open source is not free. It's actually somebody needs to sit down, spend time, and develop it. Somebody needs to sit down, spend time, and do let's say evangelize or do QA or do blogs or do the documentation or develop tests or develop extra features. It doesn't just happen. You have to spend time and energy. But then again, money by itself are not enough either. You have to have that drive, the vision, the passion. So a lot of things need to come together. So what is Suricata? We try to actually do it in a picture. So you have network traffic. Something is happening on the network, Wi-Fi or data center, so just regular network. Suricata is actually inspecting that traffic. It creates, wherever relevant, specific detection alerts. It creates all the protocol transactions needed or needed post the inspection of the traffic. It creates network flows. It has the capability to save data on this, like PCAP recordings, and the capability to extract files. This is all when it comes to actually detecting and defending from cyber threats or doing, let's say, audit or just purely getting security visibility in terms of network security. What's going on? What's happening? Is there anything that we need to know about? Is there anything that needs to be taken care of? Have I forgotten something misconfigured? Is actually an unknown malware on the network? Is something happening that I need to know about? So in that line of thought, here's a big point about Suricata. In one actually open source tool, Tool may be an understatement because it's I think it's close to the 400,000 lines of code. So it's a lot of it's an engine. It's a lot of code. For one such tool, there are four major network security monitoring types of data that it all provides in one. So you have the detection alerts or the alerts themselves, metadata, that's protocol and flow transactions, the extracted files and the pickups. That tool Suricata can do it all. But it can do it all now. It didn't start like doing it all now, right? Doing it like that all right away. So it takes time. That's why, 16 years, we are constantly adding, developing. There's constantly community contributions. So we're very, very thankful for that. So, and there's a lot more stuff to be added. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Move on. Can you tell us more about how the alerts and what was it, metadata works in Suricata?
Yeah. For example, yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. For example, let's just say you're browsing, right? And all of a sudden you're reading through a blog and something pops up, or you're just looking at let's say, good advertisement or a link, or you want to click and go somewhere, and you click and you go somewhere. What may or may not happen, but sometimes with malware it happens, is you have some sort of malware or exploit leading you or misleading you. For example, even a phishing link or similar things. And the browser unintentionally redirects you there. Now, I'm just being hypothetical here. This can result, I'm not saying it will happen all the time, but I'm saying just for sometimes, for example, specific CVEs or 0 days or exploits or similar things, it can happen that you can get some malware installed either on the browser or on the computer that you're working with and all that stuff. So now, in that case, if that's the case, let's say, in that case, this would actually trigger some sort of an alert in the engine. There will be a data in there. And then with that alert, usually us security folks or security analysts would want to have any and all data related to it, correlated to it in one shot to be faster in their judgment. So they will say an alert and they will see, okay, I have an alert because, let's say, a user unintentionally clicked on a phishing link, and that's a well-known, let's say, phishing site. And we need to know if it's really actually connected, if the malware actually deployed, if there was any transaction, if there was any big communication between that, let's say, bad site and your browser. And with that, if there is any other evidence, for example, let's say like a pickup capture, because that's the ultimate evidence. A pickup capture will be like, this is the evidence that it did happen. Here it is. So you can even use that later as a proof if needed. And so Suricata provides all that data. Now, if, for example, that malware hypothetically deploys, that could happen without the knowledge of the user. Not everybody is a security expert, and that's totally normal.
Right. Most people are not.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's where the network security monitoring comes in. And you have these SOC centers and all that stuff. And part of the SOC centers is also actually incorporating Suricata's data, all these alerts, all these protocol events, all these metadata, the PCAPs, any connections, were there any connections? How long was the connection for? Was it a lot of data transferred or not, and things? And they actually review all those things, or they actually couple it to automated response, let's say. If these ABC steps happen,
right,
then do that and all those things. So that's where Suricata comes in, a very high basic level.
Yeah. That's good.
Is that does this kind of answer your question?
I think so. It's like the middleman that's telling you what's going on, and if something is going on, it will let you know that, hey, there's danger. Go look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, also in another case as well, like for example, if you sometimes you might have, let's say, common vulnerabilities out there, and it says, "Oh, okay, this site, this domain, or this site is bad." And what you want to do sometimes, go back in time, let's say at home here, we can say, hey, has anybody actually visited this site or this link? We go back last week just to make sure you're there. So you can actually, from the data that is generated, you can go back and say, oh, okay, no, that didn't happen, we're safe, and all those things. So that's where the network security visibility part comes of the whole security stack, let's say.
Yeah. And I see that like from here you have that they're like leading security vendors and it is adopted worldwide. So like are we talking about large enterprises or could smaller organizations and even individuals benefit as well from Suricata?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay.
Yes to the three. And so we have big security vendors actually that are incorporating Suricata. For example, if you just Google Suricata space AWS, you see that is actually Suricata engine is used in AWS as a firewall.
Oh,
And
nice.
similar things. We have a lot of non-profits, a lot of regular organizations, schools, universities actually using Suricata. We have trainers, security experts that actually using Suricata themselves. So we have I'm again very thankful for such a lively and thrive community. We have
Mhm.
all sorts of engagements, which is great for the project because there is usually a bunch of things going on, and that's much better than actually being static. So there's always some ideas, some bug, some feature requests, something to discuss about. And last but not least, Suricata is very fast. From the get-go,
Mm.
it was like made to be with performance in mind. So we even have like back 7-8 years ago, there was 100 gigabit per second installations and all that. And fast forward to now, there's public data about 400 gigabit per second installations and all that stuff. And that's very high speeds. And just to give you an idea, it's not that the speed necessarily matters. Imagine our conversation here now on the video, the live stream, right? So that's probably, I don't know, I'm gonna guess. Let's say for this to happen live, there's about, let's say, I don't know, 500 packets per second going in and out of the live stream to my computer, let's say. Just very hypothetical numbers. I don't know exactly how many.
Mm.
But imagine at a much bigger speed where you have 10 million packets per second. So these are network packets in and out to make to actually that are communicating of different endpoints. So Suricata actually does inspection based on can do is there's a few ways Suricata can actually detect threats. One is based on rules and signatures that are specifically developed for that. The other one is actually based on the data that it produces that goes into a database, CM. And then, for example, there are different queries or searches that security experts actually engage in doing, or you can plug in some scripts also in Suricata to actually do the detection. Now, the Suricata usually, the way I use it, for example, usually runs with, let's say, 130,000 detection, threat detections or signature detections. Now imagine 10 million packets per second have to match on 100,000 or 130,000 signatures. That's billions of matches. So it has been optimized in such a way to achieve those speeds is actually industry leading and very, very, very lots of work, of course,
Yeah.
great developers, but it's just the scale of things that we're actually looking at. So you have to be also fast, not just accurate. And Suricata actually has all that. So here comes the last part, powering scalable security solutions, and all that. So it's good from the small people to the big organizations, and very thankful for all the support that we're getting. Really helpful.
Nice.
All right. Did I mention GPL version 2? Just to ensure the software remains free and open. You can run, study, modify, share, improve, and all those things. If there are any questions about frequently asked questions, let's say on the link here, as you see on my slide, that link actually leads to a lot of questions getting answered about if there are any about what GPL is and how can I use it, and similar things.
I was just going to ask you. I was actually just going to ask you, why did Suricata choose to use a GPL license, and how does that protect the IP, I guess, of Suricata?
Oh, it's just to make sure that the project can continue on. So there's many licenses. By the way, I'm not a license expert.
No, same.
But there's a massive amount of licenses, and so GPL version 2 is actually assures it's good both for the user and the project, because you have different types of licenses, and this is also just to make sure that the projects get recognized, and also the user can also use it for free. And it's also again beneficial for both parties to work actually together. I'm not saying what's good or what's bad or what's the best, or if this license is better than everybody has some other license. This is beyond the point. Again, I'm not a license expert, but it was a very important point when Suricata was initially created, what kind of license to choose. And this is a massively important point with any open source project, actually. Whatever you put on GitHub, whatever you decide to open source, and it doesn't matter where, I think one of the biggest, most important question is what license would you like to give it, because there's a lot of different variations. Again, I'm not an expert, but I looked a few times and it was like, wow, there's lists. And as you can see here, that's a screenshot from GitHub where actually Suricata's code is located. I was just surprised. So when I took the screenshot, there was like 5,400 stars. Now there's 5,500 stars. So, and that wasn't so long ago when I took the screenshot. So, and then there's 1,600 forks. So it's actually, the project is actively used by small individuals, small users, and big ones as well.
So what are some of the, I'm curious if you've known about some of the, like, what do people do with Suricata once they fork it? Is it experimenting, testing, building something new, or are they forking it so they can contribute back to the repo?
All of the above plus more. So, just because it's open source, anybody can actually get the code, fork it, and do their own development. So, first of all, to actually contribute to the project, and to actually to contribute to the project, whether it's you want it or not, you will become part of the community, because by contributing to the project, you are becoming part of the community. So to contribute to the project, we have guidelines in our documentation, but you actually have to fork the code from GitHub and create a merge request. And that will actually go in our development cycle for review. And that's one of the reasons why you fork the project. The other reason would be actually to fork the project or just download it and use for some customizations during compiling, or if you want to compile it yourself. Suricata is actually available for most distributions like Ubuntu, Debian, CentOS, Stream, and all these. But if you also want to use the latest code, or if you want to use some specific features enabled or disabled combined, you're better off probably compiling it yourself. And that's when actually also downloading or forking the code actually comes in also helpful. Yeah, so things like that. But while people are doing that, there's plenty of actually information they can get. We have live chats like forums, like Discord. There's a newsletter which is quarterly, so it's not one of these things that you receive daily or weekly and all that stuff. No, it's just a quarterly highlight. We have users from pretty much all time zones, all 5 continents on our live channels. There's some sort of discussion going on almost all the time. There's somebody somewhere that could almost either guide you to the right answer or answer your question if you have one on the online chat forum. So again, it's a thriving community. It doesn't take much to join. It's open. It's open source. It's open. It's free. You just click and join. Come in, share an idea, share feedback. Hey, share a bug. Why not? Everything helps. Anything helps. So, but it's thanks to a community and the consortium members and the collaboration inside that community that we're actually able to survive those 16 years.
Yeah.
Pardon me. That's a mistake. I did a mistake. I'm here 16 years. The project is started 18 years ago. Apologies. Even 18 years. So you see that with a lot of open source projects, usually some code pushed, and very little open source project, as great as they are, actually make it through that time. Because if you don't have the community, if you don't have people using it, if it's not interesting, you're not going to go too far.
Right. So we have a question here. How can beginners contribute to Suricata? Code, documentation, testing?
So, excellent. Just exactly where I wanted to go. And thank you very much for the question. So, we have different types of users. Sometimes we have users that are actually using the data that Suricata produces. Also, we have developers that are actually working on Suricata to fix a bug or to develop a new functionality or feature and all that. So you can contribute in many ways. First, you can contribute code. You can do a merge request. You can fork the repo, create your merge request, and explain the reason why and submit it for review. And that will go through the review process. Before you do that, though, just a request and a suggestion. We have an official guide in the documentation and on GitHub of what the process is and how to do it. And it's made to make things easier for both the contributor and us inside the project, just to streamline the operation and make it faster, ideally. So that's the coding part. You might want to fix a bug for that, or you might want to contribute new functionality or feature. Then you can actually contribute by testing some new functionality. Or if you see that documentation is missing or the documentation can be improved, or you want to add documentation, you can actually, that is part of the code, by the way, the documentation. So you can go through the same process. And again, another different type of contribution is you can actually give feedback to the project, to the people that actually working on it. And be like, hey, I tried this, but it wasn't working. Maybe I did wrong, but I don't think so. But this will be better if we actually do it like that. That kind of feedback is great. The other kind of feedback that is great is like, hey, I have it deployed on this type of infrastructure, on this type of network. This is working super well. I'm very thankful. Or this is not working well. Can we actually maybe look to improve something? That's also contribution. That's also engagement. Coming to actually see us at we have a Suricon once a year. We rotate between Europe and North America, and coming actually to together with the community and discuss, that actually helps a lot of ways. Supporting is also a type of contribution. In other words, you can actually attend the training. become a sponsor, become a consortium member if you're like an organization, I mean, and all that stuff. So all those things, as little as may they seem, all coming together. Again, this is a community. They are actually help us make the project better. So all of these. I was mentioning about Suricon. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, we just had another question. Since Suricata is a powerful tool, can it be considered a full replacement for commercial solutions like Sophos or 48, or is it better suited as a complementary technology?
So
no, I'm
Suricata,
not familiar with,
yeah, absolutely. So yes, I'm not really sure about the solutions that were just listed, but yes, it could be substituted for a lot of commercial solutions. And I give an example. There's very little. There is very little security tools out there that provide the 4 types of data: the alerts, the protocol, and metadata. They extract the pickups, they extract the files and the pickups all together in one free open source tools. There are some security vendors that actually have developed specific systems like that and cost a lot of money. Can it replace certain security systems? Absolutely. Is it the answer to everything? No. Is it a silver bullet? No. Suricata, again, as I mentioned, it's part of this whole security stack. But in terms of network security monitoring, visibility, for an open source project, come on, you kidding me? It's pretty good. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. It provides a lot of stuff. It provides a lot of stuff. Does it answer the question, or there's a follow-up?
Oh yeah, that absolutely answers the question. I think for an open source project, Suricata is doing very well, and it's actually very impressive that it like it's working with AWS to provide the firewalls and stuff. That's really great.
Absolutely, but it's and again, if there is usability to it, if people organizations are using it, that's what also keeps the project alive. One of the biggest idea exchanges, knowledge transfers, and collaboration, it happens actually on our conference, Suricon, which is also open. We also have 2-day specific training plus a 3-day conference. Anybody can submit a talk. Anybody can attend the training. This year it will be in Montreal, and we've been 2015 was our first conference. Wow, okay. I thought that was kind of yesterday. So we will celebrate 10 years this year. And again, open community, open code, and open future. A lot of roadmap discussions actually happen openly. We've also done roadmap discussions publicly on live streams and webinars. So again, 19, 20, 21st November is where the conference is. When the conference will be, it will be in Montreal. It's where all the community comes together. 3 different types of training, specific for threat hunters, specific for deployments, integrations, and specific for actually detection rule writing with Suricata. Sponsorship, of course, is welcome because the community is actually coming together, and super lovely gathering of a bunch of security experts and fans. Again, I have some regular links in here of our website, how to join the community, and if anybody wants to get involved, even chat online or post something on the forum. That's all I had in mind. I apologize if I overstayed my welcome. I could literally talk for a couple of days on the subject before stopping, so I don't want to overstay my welcome. I'm very, very thankful that I am part of the community, the team, and honored to be on your show, on your live stream.
Of course. So I had the one more question about the Open Information Security Foundation. What type of work does the OISF do?
What type of work does? Sorry.
Yeah, like what is the OISF? Like does it only is it only for Suricata, or are there other open projects that's a part of it?
No, they could be. Suricata is one, but they could be. It's a foundation that is actually tasked with preserving the openness of Suricata and other projects. Suricata is one project that is underneath the foundation, and again, for the foundation is strictly non-profit NGO, and that holds the open and Suricata is actually part of this foundation. And again, anything and everything that was initially done back in the days, it was done with the idea in mind that it would need to be open source, it need to be open community, and it has to provide open future. That's why it's a non-profit, that's why it's an NGO, and that's why it's called Open Information Security Foundation. It's not anything else.
Yeah, and someone asked the question I was just going to ask you as it relates to AI, because as you know, AI is huge right now. It's exploding in our industry. So how do you see Suricata evolving with emerging threats like IoT or AI-driven attacks? Like, I think there was just a really big AI-driven attack that just happened.
There's probably a lot more happening than what we know for sure. So AI is involved everywhere, actually, even more nowadays, for sure. So, the way before there were phishing emails that you can spot that this is a phishing email because the grammar was not correct or the spelling mistakes and all that. With the automated with automated checks and translations and with AI, this all disappears. So everything looks perfectly grammared now and all that stuff. But AI is used for, of course, for good things. So now, Suricata sits inline. Suricata produces a lot of data, a lot of accurate data about the network, from network security visibility of what's going on the network. AI needs that data to actually create detections and responses based on it. But when you sit inline, it's very difficult inline. I guess I say, for example, imagine you have 20 or 100 million packets per second. It's very difficult for that specific second to execute an AI detection right inline. What Suricata is actually good, and it's used a lot for, that I see in a lot of, there's a lot of security vendors out there that are actually already using from a while back ago, Suricata with AI. That's actually pretty much kind of the norm now. So Suricata AI needs a lot of data and an accurate data, and then Suricata actually provides that network data. And usually what happens, most of the installations that I see are actually because the amounts of data could also be huge. So AI is also used, including generative AI, to on top of Suricata data to provide more for network protection and all that stuff. Now, you could also potentially via programming use AI in Suricata inline via, let's say, for example, something you could do with low scripting and similar, but that's on a different level. So think of it about how, let's say, for example, there's AI. Once you Google something and it has all the data, and then the AI is actually reading all the data and it's coming in. And because it actually has actually learned and like gone through the generation of that data. Similar for Suricata. Suricata provides all the data and the AI works on top of the data. And we were just working this week with specifically AI and Suricata data and all that. Very interesting results and kind of detection that actually could not be achieved otherwise. So I think we're just starting to actually utilize the security data that Suricata is using for AI, and that's going with a super rapid pace, because there is a lot of different data that Suricata produces, so you can actually go in a lot of ways to actually use it for network protection and network detection.
Nice.
Does this kind of get you to an answer? I hope so.
Oh yeah, for sure. So more questions are coming in now. So will network IDS
Excellent.
scale for large IPv6 only networks? Ravi sounds like he knows what he's talking about by that question.
One more time, the question: would an IP? What was it? Sorry.
Will network IDS scale for large IPv6 only
Oh, okay.
networks?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So Suricata is native IPv6 usage, so that's zero problem. Yes, absolutely. It will scale up large. It can go. The fastest I've used it is 400 gigabit a second, but that's just me. They're probably maybe somewhere. Me with my colleagues. I mean, it's not just me doing it. It's a team, and there's probably even faster deployments. But short answer is yes, absolutely.
And then you have someone is asking about the conference. Is it possible to attend the 11th annual Suricon in Montreal virtually?
Yes, I think it will be. Yes, it will be also able to attend virtually.
Yeah. We had a question about what about integrating deep learning into Suricata to build a more intelligent IDS/IPS that can automatically generate and update detection rules using reinforcement learning?
It is. I think it is possible, but it's a lot of work to make sure you
Yes.
actually. Definitely, it's possible for sure. But I am not exactly an AI expert, and so
Yeah,
I'm still learning myself as well about all those things. So, is it possible to be actually integrating? Yes, I'm sure, because
of
I am
course.
actually hearing and involved in a bunch of projects that's actually doing nonstop AI and machine learning kind of different directions. So it is definitely a possibility, and I know commercial vendors that have already done it. But exactly how and the technical logistics behind it, I'm not that versed. Again, I'm not an AI expert, but yes, it's definitely possible. For me personally, it will be making sure the feedback loop. For example, when you get Suricata when you get the machine learning, the deep learning, to automatically update the rule and trigger it. Like for me, there's a lot of questions in my mind. For example, supply chain attacks, and is there any false positives, and I'll minimize all that. But this is part of the journey. You have that part of the journey regardless of which detection path you're going to take with Suricata. So
Yeah.
yes, and I'm actually looking forward for if there are more implementations like that. Exactly, become part of the community. Come in, let's chat about it, or give us ideas, or actually point us a direction, or post a feature request or a bug ticket. That's where the community parts of it. And thank you very much for that question. That's all these questions
Yeah.
are actually awesome.
Yeah, these are great questions. Thank you all for engaging. So, is there a training for Suricata? I saw someone asked about how can I take the training. I don't know if a training was mentioned,
So
but is there a training?
great question. Usually during the year, there are Suricata trainings. The best one, in my opinion, the best one is actually at Suricon, because usually at Suricon we actually try to teach the latest and the greatest in terms of features from Suricata. So, for example, Suricata 8 was released a couple of months ago. So there's a bunch of new features and functionalities there. The best way is to actually learn how to use them, adopt them, either for your integration, either for your dev work, or for your security analyst work. The best place where you can actually learn about that, get the knowledge, or transfer, exchange ideas, is actually Suricon. We are actually having 3 trainings at Suricon this year in Montreal. You can sign up on Suricon on our website directly. Let me bring it in here, suricon.net. And there's 3 different trainings. You can just go online. There is, by the way, since the question was about training, because it's suricata 8, because they have so many new things, this year actually specifically there is a bigger discount and a bundle. So one sign up actually takes you a great discount and a conference ticket, not only for the training, but you also get a conference ticket at a discounted rate. So we actually I don't think we've done such a bigger discount, but we want to actually make it also available for more people to actually come and join us. So yes, suricon.net is the place to go where you will need to find more info, including about the bundled offer.
Nice, nice, nice. So make sure you check out Suricon, check out Suricata. I'm gonna take one more question, and then we will wrap up. So, in the real world, enterprise environments where traffic network is massive and complex, what are the biggest challenges Suricata faces in real-time threat detection, and how does the community address issues like scalability and false positives?
Awesome question. So Suricata has the privilege, if you'd like to, in quotes, of actually needing to work and inspect traffic and detect threats, regardless of the type of traffic, the speed, or the location. There's a lot of caveats around like that. Just a basic example. For example, there is a specific RFC for a protocol, let's say HTTP. This is what the RFC, or this is what the document says, this is how the protocol should behave. But malware doesn't behave like that. Malware doesn't follow rules. Malware does whatever it wants. So Suricata needs to make sure it not only goes by the rules, but it also goes inspecting and detecting traffic that is not going by the rules. So there is a lot of challenges in there. And that's why a big part of actually, so once is the performance and speed in terms of security of the tool itself, Suricata, and the other one is accuracy in terms of low level of false positives. I'll touch on both these briefly. Suricata has started since a few years ago adopting Rust as a Suricata is C. The code is on C. But it has we started adopting Rust, which actually provides for that extra layer of security, because C is fast, C is good, but it's prone to segfaults and similar. But there's a lot of coverage based on Rust now in the code. Again, as I mentioned, Suricata is super performant and super fast. And in terms of accuracy, in other words, true or false positive is, if you see a false positive, please report it, no problem. With Suricata also inspects the traffic based on rules. These rules might be written by security vendors, different ones, or by you. And so, for example, if something is false positive for a specific deployment somewhere, it actually might be true positive somewhere else. So it really depends on a lot of factors. But when you're talking about a community and how the community helps, here is how actually, if there is a bug, the community reports it. If there is a false positive, the community reports it. So we can actually have a deeper look and see, okay, is that really a false positive? Is it a bug in the engine? Did something happen and didn't behave correctly? So yes, it's a big problematic looking at network traffic, because all the things that you think could not happen are actually happening on the network, not only in terms of security, but misconfigurations, types of traffic, transfers, and all those things. Anything and everything goes. And environments are different. So Suricata needs to, and that's the biggest test, because when Suricata stops operating, your actually security or network visibility goes down. So it has to operate no matter what the traffic, no matter where it is deployed, all the time. And we spend a lot of effort, developers, testers, QAs, community as well, and actually making sure that this is the case. We also have about 17, 18 years of experience, so that's not small, but everything is ever changing. So that doesn't help with keeping things safe, unfortunately, but we're giving it our best. If you'd like to hear more about that or learn more, please ping us in online in the chat. We'll be more than happy to engage further.
Yeah, so be sure to join the Suricata community. Go to the repository, gh.io/suricata, and you will find all the links there. It's a very well organized repository, so you'll be able to find everything you need.
Thank you.
And it looks like the last question is, does Suricata also protect against neighbors stealing my Wi-Fi password? Great. Nice.
Right. Okay. Depends on the circumstances, but yes. So, in other words, if there is, it really depends how it happens on the network, or if simply the neighbor looks over on the phone and things like that. So, jokingly, of course, but
Of course.
but yes, there are detections for let's say brute forcing or password stealing or phishing or exfiltration, similar things like that in general. I'm not really sure about your neighbor though. It might be something different. So you better have all
Of
things prepared.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the stream, Peter. This was it was nice learning about this project and the incredible
Thank you.
impact it's having on the community and in our lives apparently, because big companies are using the tech. So I hope that the foundation can keep the work going and we can keep being protected. And developers, be sure to check out Suricata. If you're a cyber expert, in the audience as well, go to the repository and fork it, work around, explore the code and do your thing. This has been wonderful, but as you know, it's now time to say cheers and au revoir. Any last words that you want to share with folks?
Kadesha, thank you very much. Truly an honor to be here. Thank you very much for all the folks that were online and that are watching this. Please, if you have any follow-up on feedback, don't hesitate to ping us. And thank you very much to my team and to my community. I wouldn't be here without that community, that team, and that open source code that's out there on GitHub. So much appreciated. And once again, thank you, Kadesh.
Yeah. And until next time, y'all, this has been Open Source Friday. Bye.
Thank you.